In an old house lived a woman named Elvira. She lived alone and she didn't have a good relationship with the neighbors of the town. Everyone walked away from her because of her bad character. Every day, she hung her clothes on lines under a window, which overlooked a square where young people gathered. Every time a child approached her house, the woman scared him away with screams and threatened him if he got to stain her clothes. Among the clothes, she always had a silk veil, very fine and white. It was obvious that it was special to her because she tended it delicately as if it were a treasure. One afternoon, after several hours of rain, the sun finally appeared, and the children went out to the square to play. One of the smaller ones kicked the ball hard, which ended up just under Elvira's clothes. Everyone else hid while the little one had to go retrieve the ball. Inadvertently, he tripped over a puddle of mud that had formed near the house. He saw that several brown drops had stained the lady's immaculate veil. Terrified, he wanted to clean it up a bit, but only managed to stain it more because his hands were also dirty. Suddenly, he noticed that the window opened. As soon as Elvira saw the little boy with muddy hands clutching her veil, she began to yell at him uncontrollably. The frightened boy began to cry. He apologized, saying that he had stumbled. However, the woman came out of the house, gave him a yank on the ears, and warned him that if he came any closer, he would regret it. The little boy ran away crying and told his friends what happened. Here in the story, the young man decided to take revenge on the lady. As soon as the sun went down, they threw several pieces of toilet paper into the puddles and then threw them into the house, leaving it filthy. They didn't believe that the woman was awake at that hour, but suddenly the old woman opened the door and grabbed the first child she found, who unfortunately was the little one who had soiled her veil. The young man screamed for help, but Elvira dragged him inside and closed the door. The other children ran home to warn the adults, and a little later, the little boy's parents banged on the woman's door, screaming. However, no one opened. Some suggested calling the police, but the minor's parents were unwilling to wait any longer, so with the help of several neighbors, they forced the door and entered. The mother's screams roared through the town as she entered the room. The lady, with a dirty veil on her head, was kneeling on the bloody floor, and around her were the child's teeth and fingers. The neighbors removed her veil and saw that her face had been disfigured. It seemed that she had been consumed. The mark of all her bones under the skin could be seen with the naked eye. She was dead. Suddenly, from behind the sofa, the little boy came out, sobbing with blood in his mouth and squeezing the blood that still flowed from his severed fingers. They say that the devil had made a pact with the woman. She was to give him young souls in exchange for her immortality. However, that young man managed to escape at the time of the sacrifice, and the devil ended up taking Elvira's soul forever. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it. And if you want to see more Draw My Life horror videos, subscribe to our channel. See you in the next episode.